Hello, this is Mercury Rises from Clash of Empire, also called Last Land, and I have a new account to me anyway. My son had been playing this account, and he has since acquired a stronger account, and so Jack gave this to me, and as I had been joking about changing it to Siege. Um, it's a really good account, although it's not really necessarily vital to the kingdom. But it is a good account, and so I just been joking around about it. Now there's a lot of things that still need to be done on it, and especially with as old as it is, it may be a little bit of a challenge, but I'm always up for a good challenge. So I was going through the equipment, showing it to you, and then realized that for some reason the third gear auxiliary was all mixed up. So I've had it for several days now, and the one thing that it's very low on is troops, of course, and so I need to train troops. I don't know why the troop stuff wasn't on the third gear, but I got it fixed. So I need to train troops. That's most important. But also, he said that I could change it to siege. And I don't know how many of my listeners are familiar with how T10 Siege does in the throne. Now, this is an account that's a bit weaker than the one my son has now. And my account and his are kind of like back and forth. I do think I'm still a little bit stronger just because I'm cavalry. So this one is quite a bit weaker than mine, but weaker siege is still about equal to, say, a little bit stronger of, say, cavalry or archer, and even infantry. So siege basically beats all if built correctly, and I have dabbled in siege, and I have built cavalry siege accounts, and I have started out siege accounts and captains and things like that. So I'm going to see what I can do with it. The princesses are a little uneven, so I got quite a bit of work to do on Wajit. Salila, and they're all gray, I think. Wajid is all gray. The other ones are rather good levels. So it's an archer account. The infantry health is it's all right. But the initially I'd started doing Chanje because Chanje has infantry health, but it also has siege health and defense. Now Wajit though obviously has siege attack. And I didn't realize how low she was. So I decided to work on her today. So I'm going to start working on Wajit. She's very important for that. And now, this account actually had some siege blessings as far as research goes, and even some siege research. So that's really encouraging. That's going to help a lot. The economy is very well off, and the development needs some work. It needs some stamina recovery, and I think even some magic mine, things like that. So the research is pretty good. So now the glory goes for the siege, goes on the hospital, the siege training facility, obviously, and the storehouse. And all three of those buildings are quite low at 26, 26, and 28. So it does not have T10 siege yet anyway. So it looks like the ceremonies that are coming up now, it didn't do the last ceremony. I had wondered kind of why, because I think it had plenty of these items, but then I realized the speed was really low and the gold was low. So I need to collect up speed, I need to collect up gold so I can do the next ceremony, and I should be able to get some of those buildings that are needed for glory upgraded, and that would be really important. So probably do buildings this next due over research. Like I said, most of the research is pretty okay, but obviously, the siege needs to be boosted. Um, and the infantry health is research is really good. So anyway, I got to train a lot of troops though, and now that I got the auxiliary equipment fixed, that should be a lot easier now. The Joan isn't great, but that's to be expected in an Archer account because they don't use Joan. They use Hype. And Hypatia is, she's not 10-star, but obviously we need to get her there. The Altea is kind of low, but that also shouldn't be really too much of a problem because it's not like she's 3 or 4-star. Matilda is 3 or 4-star, so that's not even like an option. So we're looking at Caesar, Alex, which is actually really good in this account because it's an Archer account. Genghis really doesn't. Genghis kind of helps with the infantry defense, but it's really not great for siege. So I'll replace the Genghis with Altea after I get her built up some, and of course I'll replace Hypatia with Joan. But my Class A hero will be Hypatia. So Hypatia has siege health, while Joan has siege defense. And then, of course, we've got Caesar with siege health, and Alex with siege attack, and Altea with siege attack. So all of the heroes will have a siege benefit. Whereas with cavalry, there's really not much that Alex does except for the infantry health. It doesn't have any cavalry attributes. And in Archer, the Hype doesn't really have much on Archer, but it does have like troop attack and infantry health. So sometimes, it's kind of unusual to have all 5 heroes that have the specific specialty in them. Now, I didn't get time to show you a lot of this, where like the cross badges, I didn't get to showing that, or the rank, and I didn't get to show you the troops. But say maybe on the next video, I will show you those things. But yeah, so Jack gave it to me to just basically as a secondary account. Of course, my account is priority and building it. But I've done multiple accounts or multiple top accounts and good accounts at one time previous. So it's not really a problem. It'll just be like a secondary account, and I have a lot of things to switch over and a lot of troops to train. And with the fact that it doesn't really have troops, then I might as well get it built up, such as going into the gems and trading those out for siege gems, and things like that. So that's kind of what I'm doing and what I'm looking at. Here's the Altea. It is kind of low, but that's to be expected. So there's a lot of things that I can do for migration, for power. I went ahead and preferred Altea, which is kind of typical, and Joan. Now, what I have noticed in the advanced hero is that even though I prefer, say, Caesar, or I prefer Genghis, or I prefer Joan, there is another hero that pops up more often than that actual hero that's preferred. Now, I don't know if that algorithm is basically like game-wide or if it's just specific to each account. Jack says it's specific to each account. Now, I don't have any problem raising Joan for some reason, and everybody else does. So saying my captains and everything, and I'm looking to raise Joan because I'm almost always doing a cavalry captain, then for some reason I can basically have a 2-star Joan by towers, which is 2 weeks into the captain, which is really unusual. So, I mean, and other people have a lot more difficulty with Joan. Now, in captain, I always prefer Caesar. So that's kind of interesting, right? Because a lot of times Archer accounts also prefer Caesar. Well, they don't really need Joan. And they don't use it. So, infantry also doesn't use Joan. So typically Joan is only used for cavalry and siege. So anyway, it looks like that the lion, depending on how many shards I have going on, may be pretty close to getting a gold skill on the block. I was kind of surprised about that. I mean, really need, and that's when I started looking through the items, and I thought, oh, well, let me see how many shards are in there. I don't think I can take it to gold right now, but say maybe and after the next ceremony, or even maybe 2 ceremonies, I'm not real sure, then I would have enough gold in purple.